I mean, look, when I first saw it, I kind of had a similar reaction as my dad. I'm like, it does, if you look at him in that video, right? It doesn't, I mean, you were talking to him. It doesn't look like to me that is a person that is in his right mind. Um, but it's also just like, I mean, look, man, you're 78 years old. You're not on TV anymore. Your granddad should be down there in Texas or wherever he is taking care of his family, but yet he's unprovoked coming after our family. And so that took me off guard. And I'll just be straight up with you, man. Like, I love who I am. I am happy about who I am. But the reality is that me growing up, just like a lot of other black gay boys like me, I didn't choose to be gay. This is the way God made me. And so him attacking my father for loving me for the way that I was made doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'll even throw some logic out there at you. I mean, for people who may think, oh, this is a lifestyle choice, this is this or that. In what world do you think this amount of, again, I love who I am. I've grown to love who I am, but I would just ask people, in what world would you logically think people would decide to live this life where they're discriminated against? People take their lives because of this. People, live lives with depression, all types of mental illnesses because society rejects them for being gay. And so to hear him attack my father for supporting me for something that is out of my control and quite frankly, the way that God made me to be, it's sick. And it's unprovoked at that too. And it's ignorant, and he's spreading hate. And it's just uncalled for. And one other note, I mean, look, he did not have to, no, I don't think you've ever had his name in your mouth, right, Dad? My dad has never mentioned this man's name. So I just wonder, look, man's been off TV for 10 years. Last I heard about him, he had gotten arrested for some charge down in Memphis because he was being vulgar in public, I think, down there. And he was drunk and vulgar. And so again, like, it pisses me off to hear him talk like that because it is a personal attack against me. I think about the young people like me, the young black boys who, again, LGBTQ people have the highest rate of deaths by suicide of any other population in this country. And that is because they cannot imagine a life in which they will be able to live freely like everybody else in this world. And so for him to come on again and attack our family in that way just doesn't, there's nothing positive to it. I'll say that.
We don't give a fuck! Jesus! We don't give a fuck!
Respectfully, can you walk me through that? Your son revealing to you that he was gay?
Well, at age 18, when he was leaving high school, going to college, where he knew his life would transition outside of the family, he let us know and went to college and went to work in Congress, worked at the U.S. Senate, and we encouraged and embraced him at all times. And when he moved to Washington, D.C., which was a gay-friendly town, I thought he'd be able to live his life, because it's a horrible thing to try and live a life that's not you. You know what we say, keep it real, be who you are. And so pretending to be somebody you're not all your life is a horrible thing. And when he told me that even in a gay-friendly town such as D.C., that folks didn't know he was gay and he wasn't living the life that he wanted to live, that hurt me. And then he told me one of the reasons is because he didn't want me to catch criticism. And that really hurt me. That said to me, my son is putting my interests ahead of his own life. And I'll just say that I would let God take my life before I would refuse to accept my son and embrace and love on my son. I don't care what the criticism is. And in that sense, I think that's why a lot of brothers don't embrace their gay sons, because of the criticism on the outside. And brothers, I gotta tell you, you can't be strong and weak at the same time. Being strong, you don't care about no criticism. In fact, when you get you get that criticism about your son, if you really street, if you're really about that life, you check it. And on the other hand, if you're concerned about what folks say, your son is gay, etc., etc., if you are more concerned with what people on the outside would say about you than you are, then rather than loving on your son, how much strength is that?
Some people are really fucking stupid.
How do you describe those 3 weeks?
Well, of course, they were devastating and felt like I did when I lost my mother. That's the feeling I had. And I'd do anything to get my mother back. So I did anything to get my wife back.
Linda, you were backstage when I asked Greg, what did you have in common with his mom? He said, y'all are very different. And I said, well, there are strong women in different ways. Mm-hmm. I called him originally to talk with him, and he said, I got to wait on this one to say it was okay. Why did you find this to be the right time for you to talk about this?
As you mentioned, it's been a year now. And in that year, we did a lot of work. We learned each other again. We had enjoyed our time doing that each and every day. And it's just been progressively just great. I mean, every day it's been just wonderful.
Mm-hmm. What is that song, Woman to Woman? That's there's an old song my mom used to listen to. Betty, this is Shirley's Betty. Woman to Woman. Right. Person to person. Mm-hmm. I think that stepping away from your marriage and stepping away from your family is not an easy decision for anyone, or to take a break, whatever you define it as. How do you, as a woman, explain that feeling of needing that moment to process who you are at that time?
Well, I have always, like you said, I supported him always. And at that time, I felt I needed to just take care of me. And that's what I felt I was doing at that time.
And since you gossiping and all that, tell him about that $4 I cashed after you so you could survive, you fucking one side of the story. Tell him, bitch.
Well, that shit pissed me off. Like, we got Judge Mathis responding to his son being gay. I mean, his son was married to a guy for a couple of years now. It's coming out that, since Judge Joe Brown talked shit about it, you know what I'm saying? More people are looking at it and responding to it and talking about it. And then, you know, it ran across my desk, so I decided to make a video about it. I don't give a damn about who uses what around what. Why is being gay always put in people's face, right? Because you never see what people do in the bedroom. We don't. Who cares what you're doing in the bedroom? We never see it. So why the hell does it matter if you're gay? What you prefer in the bedroom? Now, Judge Mathis is a star. We've all grew up with Judge Mathis since the 90s. His son's gay. Why is everybody in Hollywood seem to be, or they kids seem to be, oh, I don't know, but who cares? They're in their own bedroom, like I said. But why would he get married? Okay, but why does it matter? They constantly putting this stuff in front of us for a reason. Like I said, the black community has a thing going on where they want to constantly go towards this agenda. The Lil Nas X and these different people, that constantly throw this Duke shooter, Putin intruder um, agenda in front of us. I mean, we know Judge Mathis from his TV show, and his TV show was on for years. Was it that good? I don't know. But for some reason, your boy decided to go another way. After you're being in Hollywood for so long, and you never, you don't have a blemish on your record, right? For some reason, I just noticed like people always gotta have a blemish on their record. You can't just get out of this unscathed. This game that you play in Hollywood, where they're giving you certain things and accolades, you always gotta you always gotta take the good with the bad. Now I don't know if this is part of anything. All I'm saying is, for some reason, the person that we've been watching since the '90s has somebody that and they're slowly influencing everybody else to take this path. Like I don't, like I said, I don't care what you do in the back because nobody sees it. But why do y'all want to talk about it so much? It seems like it's more of a disciplinary thing that you guys need to address instead of what people do in the bedroom and pushing that on people. Because discipline with your sexual organs is necessary so you don't do nothing crazy with them. If you don't feel like you're being satisfied with certain things, then you might go to other things. That's why they say weed is a gateway drug. You don't want to smoke and keep smoking and then feel like it's not satisfying enough and try something different because you will then open yourself up to all kind of possibilities. I'm just saying that when people don't have these type of disciplines, it will affect everything they have going on. So if you don't have discipline with your sexual organs, you might try something crazy. If you don't have discipline with you trying drugs, you might try something crazy. If you don't have discipline with eating, you might be eating crazy. All these things is necessary for you to be a disciplined human being, a person with morals. Right? You could easily fuck up your morals or look over them if you don't have these disciplines. If you say, I need to smoke, I need to drink, I need this, then you can be easily manipulated. That's why they say you need to fast. So you don't need as much food sometimes. And you can go through the pains, the growing pains of being a disciplined person. But it is what it is, man. Signs of acceptance, we ain't having it. Like, comment, subscribe.